In the deep part of space, near a quiet area called the Salvani Expanse, something strange happened. A signal started to appear. It was slow and calm, but not normal. The scientists on the Andari Council Station saw it first. It was a kind of message, but no one could understand it. It used old ways to talk, with light and sound waves. The signal came from a place called Sector 9 Gamma. That area was empty and forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. On Earth, far away from the signal, a huge warship waited. The ship was called the Leviathan. It was the largest ship ever made by humans. It was not just big, it was strong, fast, and full of new tools. The Leviathan was hidden for many years. No one outside Earth knew it even existed. People on Earth had been quiet for 50 years. After a bad war near one of Jupiter's moons, humans decided to stay out of galactic matters. They stopped talking to other species. They stopped going far from home. Many thought humans were weak or scared. But they were wrong. Inside the Leviathan, the crew was getting ready. Admiral Karen Brooks stood in the center of the command bridge. She looked calm, but her eyes showed strength. Her crew worked around her, checking systems and making sure everything was ready. The air felt tense, like something big was about to happen. Karen looked at the screen in front of her. It showed the area where the signal was found. She knew the other species were watching. The message was not for them. It was a sign, a quiet sign that humanity was moving again. The ship had no bright lights. Its outside was dark and smooth. It did not shine like other ships. It was made to move without being seen. Its body was made of new metal that could not be scanned. No one could guess what was inside. Commander Josh Miller walked to Karen. He held a small device. "All systems are ready, Admiral," he said. She nodded. "Is the beacon active?" "Yes, it's sending the pattern every 10 seconds. No replies yet." Karen turned to face the wide window. She could not see the stars with her eyes, but she knew they were there. "They will notice," she said. "Let them come." At the same time, far away on a planet called Verdun Prime, people saw something in the sky. It was big and dark. It moved slowly, without sound. It was the Leviathan. It had arrived in orbit above the planet. News spread fast. People pointed. Governments called meetings. Some were afraid. Others were just confused. What was this ship? Why was it here? And why was it silent? The ship did nothing. It did not send a message. It did not ask to land. It just stayed. Inside the ship, Lieutenant Ava Brooks sat at her station. She was young, but smart. She was the lead for data watching. She looked at the scans of Verdun Prime. "No signs of attack ships nearby," she said. "They are moving their ships, but not close." Josh came to her side. "Keep watching. We are not here to scare them, but they need to know." He turned and walked to the main table, where Karen was looking at a star map. "Any response from the assembly?" she asked. "None yet. We are quiet on all open channels." Karen nodded again. She liked silence. Silence was power. Let's see how long it takes for them to ask questions. Back on Verdun Prime, people started to panic. Shops closed early. News shows talked about the dark ship. Experts gave guesses. Some said it was a new empire. Others said it was a ghost ship. No one thought it could be human. Humans were gone. In the main city of Verdun Prime, the leaders met. They sent a fast message to the Galactic Assembly. The message said, "Unknown ship in orbit. No response, no action taken. Request guidance. The assembly, made up of many species, was confused too. They had not heard from Earth in 50 years. The name Leviathan was not in any of their records. Their computers gave no match. Ships were sent to look. Drones flew around the Leviathan, but they found nothing. No weapons were seen, no shield signals. The ship seemed empty, but no one believed it. Inside the Leviathan, the crew kept working. They watched, they listened, they made no move. They were not here to fight, they were here to remind. Karen stood still. She knew history. Long ago, humans were feared. Then they were ignored. Now, they were back. She looked around the bridge. Her crew trusted her. They had trained for this. They had waited. Now the galaxy would see them again. The Leviathan did not move. It did not speak. It did not need to. It was already speaking, louder than any words. And across the galaxy, silence began to spread. Asterisk, the dark ship stayed in the sky above Verdun Prime. Every hour, more ships and people looked up, waiting for something to happen. But nothing changed. The huge ship did not move, and it did not speak. It stayed still, like a quiet mountain floating in space. In the control room of the Leviathan, Admiral Karen Brooks stood at the center. Her eyes were sharp. Around her, the crew worked quietly. They checked every signal, every scan, every detail. Commander Josh Miller walked over with a report. We are still getting no direct messages, but scanner traffic has increased. There are small scout ships nearby. They are not armed. Karen looked at the screen. She saw the outlines of the small ships. They were flying round the Leviathan, but they were not brave enough to come too close. Let them watch, she said. That is what we came for. Far below, in the city on Verdun Prime, people were afraid. Some left their homes. Some stayed inside. The news showed the ship all day and night. The leaders of the planet tried to speak to the ship. They sent messages in every known language, but the ship gave no reply. At the Galactic Assembly, many voices argued. Some wanted to send warships. Others said to wait. Some asked, who are they? Why are they here? The idea that it could be humans shocked many. Most thought Earth was silent forever. Back on Earth, the United Earth Assembly watched everything. President Laura Grant sat in her office, looking at a live feed from the Leviathan. She listened to her advisors. Some wanted the Leviathan to return. Others said it should stay longer. Laura spoke with calm voice. The galaxy has forgotten who we are. They forgot to isolate now. They will remember. On the Leviathan, Lieutenant Ava Brooks continued her scans. She watched energy levels from nearby ships. So far, they were not charging weapons. She turned to Captain Eric Vaughan. Should we change position or stay in orbit? Stay, he said. No reason to move. We are not here to play games. Eric walked to the Admiral. He pointed to a new signal. We have a ship coming in, bigger than the Scouts. Not a warship, but it's from the Ryalan Compact. Karen raised an eyebrow. Send a message. Secure channel. Eric nodded and sent a short message to the other ship. The words were clear. This is the Leviathan. We are not hostile. Do not approach closer than 50,000 kilometers. The Ryalan ship slowed down. Then it stopped. They had heard the message. They did not speak back. The galaxy was watching. All eyes were on the Leviathan. Every race, every empire, every small colony near a radio listened. They heard only one thing: silence. But that silence made them nervous. Some began to send questions to Earth. The humans did not answer. The silence became louder. In a command room on a planet called Vorkal, the Athari Dominion leader looked at the ship's image. Chancellor Drevers did not like surprises. He remembered the old human wars. He remembered their power. He turned to his advisors. "Prepare a plan. I want to know everything about that ship. Who built it, how strong it is, and what they want back." Inside the Leviathan, the crew worked without fear. They had trained for years. They knew every system, every room, every part of the ship. They did not need orders. They worked as one. Admiral Karen looked at the crew and felt proud. They were ready. Not for battle, but for purpose. She gave a short order. "Open the next beacon. Start the second signal." Lieutenant Ava pressed a button. A soft blue light pulsed. From the top of the Leviathan, it was a second message, different from the first. It used an old star pattern, a code known only to human deep space missions. It would mean nothing to others, but to old friends, it would speak clearly. Hours passed. No answer came, but the beacon kept pulsing. Josh looked at Karen. "What if no one understands it?" "Then we wait," she said. "But someone will." In a far system near the edge of the stars, a small hidden human outpost caught the signal. The people there had stayed in silence for a long time. They looked at the signal and knew what it meant. One of them, a man named Luke, sent a simple message back. "Welcome, Leviathan. We see you." That message reached the Leviathan. Ava smiled. We got a reply. Karen looked at the screen and nodded. "Good. It begins." The ship continued to float above Verdun Prime. It still said nothing to the others. But now, inside, the crew knew they were not alone. Other humans, far and hidden, had seen the light, and they had answered. The galaxy still watched in silence. But the silence had started to crack, and deep in space, in places long forgotten, people began to speak of Earth again. The Leviathan stayed in orbit, silent and still. The ship did not change its place, and it did not send any new message. But everyone in the galaxy kept watching. Every hour, more ships arrived near Verdun Prime. They came from different empires and governments. Some wanted to learn, some wanted to study, some just wanted to make sure the dark ship did not attack. Inside the Leviathan, the crew worked without fear. They cleaned the systems, checked the power flow, and reviewed the scans. They all knew their mission. They were not there to start a war. They were there to be seen. Captain Eric Vaughan stood beside Commander Josh Miller. Both of them looked. At the screen, there were now over 30 small ships around the planet. None came too close, but all had their eyes on the Leviathan. "They are waiting for us to do something," Josh said. Eric nodded. "And we won't. We just stay. That's enough, Admiral." Karen Brooks entered the room. Her steps were slow and steady. She looked at the crew and then at the map on the screen. "Has anyone made a move?" she asked. "Not yet," Eric said. "But one of the Realan ships sent a drone. It stopped a few kilometers from the hull. No weapons. Did we respond?" "No, we just watched." Karen looked at the screen again. "Good. Let them." Wonder, on Verdun Prime, the leaders were still unsure. They had called for help from the Galactic Assembly, but there were no clear answers. The Assembly members were too busy arguing. Some said the Leviathan was a danger. Others said it was a message of peace. Some said it should be ignored. but no one was brave enough to act first. The Realan Compact held a private meeting there. Top General Varric Dawn was a strong voice. He believed the Leviathan must be tested. He did not like silent ships that floated with no clear reason. "This is not peace," he said to his team. "This is a threat. No ship of that size waits without purpose. We must show our strength." He sent orders to his ships near Verdun Prime. 12 cruisers were to move closer to the Leviathan, slowly, not to attack, but to test. Inside the Leviathan, the crew saw the movement at once. "Realan fleet is coming in," Ava Brooks said. 12 cruisers. Formation is tight. Speed is slow. Karen gave no order to fire. She did not call for shields. She simply said, "Hold position." No weapons, no message. The Realan cruisers kept coming. They stopped just outside the 50,000-kilometer line. For a moment everything was still. Then one of the cruisers fired a small pulse. It was not a real weapon, just a test signal. It touched the Leviathan's outer field and bounced off. The crew stayed calm. No one moved. Then Karen spoke, sent a signal. Only 2 words. Eric sent it. Across space, every scanner picked it up. "Stand down." The words were clear. No threat, just a line. But the Realan general was not happy. He sent another pulse. This time it was stronger. It shook the outer edge of the Leviathan's defense field. That was the moment Karen made a choice. "Prepare the pulse," she said. Josh looked surprised. "Full gravity wave." "Yes, but controlled. Do not harm them. Just stop them." Ava entered commands. The ship's power focused into a single point. Then, in silence, the Leviathan released a short burst of energy. It was not bright. It was not loud. But it was powerful. The wave hit the Realan fleet like a soft wall. Every engine stopped at once. The ships froze in space. No damage, no fire, but nothing worked. Across the galaxy, people saw what had happened. They watched as 12 warships were stopped by one pulse. It was not a weapon. It was a message. Inside the Leviathan, the crew watched the screen. All 12 Realan ships were still floating. Powerless. Karen gave the order. "Send another message." Simple. Eric sent it. No more tests. The message spread fast. The Realan fleet slowly regained power. One by one, their engines came back. None of them moved closer. They turned and left the area. On Verdun Prime, the people saw the whole thing. Fear changed into respect. Some even cheered. The silent ship had not attacked. It had not destroyed. But it had shown its power in the Galactic Assembly. The mood shifted. Now they knew the truth. The Leviathan was real. It was strong, but it chose peace. A new meeting was called. This time, the question was not how to stop the Leviathan, but how to speak to it. Back on the ship, the crew returned to normal work. Karen walked the command room. "They tested us," she said. "And we answered," Eric replied. She nodded. "They will not test again." Deep in space, on a hidden planet, other humans watched the events. They had stayed in the shadows for years. Now, they saw hope. They saw the Leviathan and remembered the old days. One of them, a woman named Claire, looked at the screen and smiled. "They will remember us now," she said. The dark ship stayed in the sky. It did not speak. But the whole galaxy listened. The control room of the Titan-class warship was quiet, but it was not empty. Captain Laura Price stood at the center, looking. At the main screen, her crew moved around her in silence. their eyes locked on their displays. They all knew the mission was not over. The enemy was still out there. Laura looked at the map. The enemy fleets had pulled back, but only for now. The ships of the Cretan Empire were still watching from far away. They were waiting, maybe for backup, maybe for orders, or maybe just because they were afraid. The voice of First Officer Kyle Brooks broke the silence. We are still tracking movement on the far edge of the system. Small groups, could be scouts. Laura nodded. Let them watch. But stay alert. The ship was big, the largest thing humans had ever sent into space. It moved slow, but its power was unmatched. When it arrived in the system, it had not fired a single shot at first. The enemy ships had come close, curious or brave. One by one, they had fallen. The warship had ended 3 ships in under 5 minutes. No warning, no long battle. Just silence, then fire. Now the other species were watching from the shadows. They had never seen a ship like this. Many of them did not believe humans had such. Power down in the lower deck. Engineers worked without stopping. The ship's heart was alive with heat and light. Cables ran across the floor. Tools buzzed. Screens flashed. At one station, a young engineer named Leo checked the systems again. Main reactor is stable, he said to his partner, a tall woman named Rachel Long. Shields are still at 98%. Weapons are ready. Rachel gave a small nod. Good. Keep running the cycle every 30 minutes. We can't afford a slip. Leo looked nervous. You think they'll attack again? Rachel looked at the floor. They might, or maybe someone else will. Back on the bridge, Laura turned to the comms officer. Any word from command? Not yet. Last message said to hold this position. They're sending a science team to scan the area. Laura did not like it. This system was empty now, but it had been full of life once. Broken ships floated near the 3rd planet. Some still had power. Others were just pieces of metal. A voice came through the ship's internal system. Captain, you're needed in the hangar. Shuttle incoming. Not one of ours. Laura's eyes narrowed. Is it hostile? No signs. It's broadcasting an open signal. Looks peaceful. Show me. The main screen shifted. A small shuttle drifted toward them. It was old, not built for war. Its surface was worn. Symbols of many races were painted on the side. Laura looked at Kyle. Prepare a team. I want to know who they are and what they want. Minutes later, the shuttle docked. A team in full gear stood waiting at the airlock. The doors opened with a soft sound. Out stepped 3 figures. The first was a grey-skinned man with wide eyes. His hands were raised. He spoke in clear standard. We are not enemies. We are scholars. We came to speak. The second was a woman with blue marks across her face. The third was tall and thin, with no mouth, only glowing eyes. Laura met them in the hangar. She stayed calm, but her guards stood close. You came too. Talk, after what your fleets did here. The grey-skinned man lowered his head. Not all of us follow the Empire. Many of us warned them. They would not listen. Now they see the price. Laura crossed her arms. And what do you want? We want to understand this ship. It is beyond what we knew. We came to ask questions and to offer something in return. Kyle stepped forward. What are you offering? The man looked up. Knowledge. We have maps. Old ones, from before the Empire. Places your kind have not seen. Laura looked at him for a long time. You will hand over those maps. In return, we won't destroy your shuttle. The man smiled, but it was a sad smile. That is fair. Later, in the ship's data room, the scholars gave their files, maps lit up across the screens, worlds that had no names in human records, empty systems, strange energy readings. One system had a symbol over it, a red mark. Laura pointed at it. What is that? The woman with blue marks spoke. That place is dead. A machine sleeps there. It woke once and erased a moon. Even the Empire stays away. Laura stared at the mark. We'll see about that. The next day, Command gave new orders. The Titan was to move to that system, not to fight, just to watch, to scan. But everyone on the ship knew that if anything came out of that system, they would be ready. As the ship turned, lights across the hull blinked on. The engines roared. The galaxy watched again, but no one said a word, and the Titan moved toward the red mark. The stars were quiet above the burned surface of Verdun 6. Once a green world full of cities and life, it now lay in smoke and silence. The Empire had come with fire and steel, leaving behind only dust and shadows. Their fleet still hovered above the planet, proud and strong. They had crushed many worlds before. They thought they would crush more. But then something changed. Captain Erin Collins sat inside the control chamber of the Imperial dreadnought Vexor. Her face was cold and calm, her voice steady. She had seen victory many times. She had no reason to doubt the next would be the same. Any sign of resistance? She asked her second officer, Brent Hall, shook his head. Nothing. Scans show all major cities are empty. No power, no movement. Then we finish what we started, she said. Prepare to move to the next sector. But before the words had left her mouth, the signal alarms began to sound. A low tone, quiet but sharp, not a call of danger, a warning. Something unknown had appeared on the edge of their scan range. New contact, said Brent, his voice tense. Long-range sensors just picked it up. It's not broadcasting any ID. Erin stood up, her eyes narrowing. What kind of ship? No match in the database, Brent said. Size is large, very large. Movement is strange. It's fast, too fast. The ship did not send any signal. It did not respond to calls. It did not light up in the way normal ships did. It moved without trail, without heat, without sound. It came in like smoke across. The stars could be stealth tech, Erin said. It's moving directly toward us, Brent added. We are its target. On the far side of the fleet, the first scout ship tried to approach the unknown vessel. It vanished from sensors in less than 4 seconds. No signal, no distress call, no wreckage. Just gone. Erin frowned. Pull the line back. Ready the main guns. Alert the fleet. The ship moved closer. It made no sound. It sent no light. Yet, every captain on every Empire ship now watched their screens with growing fear. On board the unknown ship, silence ruled the bridge. Human hands moved over smooth consoles. The ship had no name shown, no color or flag. But inside it, Captain Laura Banks watched the stars with sharp eyes. Lock in on lead target, she said. Her voice was calm. Her crew, trained on Earth, moved with skill and speed. They had seen death. They had faced monsters. But this mission was different. The Empire had gone too far. They had broken a line. Now, humanity had decided to answer. Laura leaned forward. Fire. One blast shot forward from the ghost ship. It was a beam of strange light, silent and thin. It hit the front line of the Empire fleet. 5 ships vanished. Not exploded. Not torn apart. They simply stopped being there. Gone in one breath. Panic broke out across the Empire command. Erin shouted orders, trying to bring the fleet into a better position. But the unknown ship kept moving. It turned without effort. It slipped past their defense lines like it was dancing. There. Inside our formation, Brent said. They've disabled 15 ships in less than a minute. No ship can move like that, Erin said. That's not possible. But it was happening. The ghost ship kept weaving between the Empire cruisers. Their weapons could not lock. On, their systems began to fail one by one. They've hacked us, Brent said. I don't know how, but they're inside the core systems. Then came a voice. It spoke in the Empire's command channel. Clear, cold, human. This is not your space. Leave now. Erin stood in silence. She could not answer. The ghost ship flew past again. Another dreadnought fell silent. Engines cold. Lights gone. The ship now floated dead in space. They are not killing the crews, Brent said. They're disabling, crippling. They're showing mercy, Erin said. She looked at the screen. Her hands trembled. She had never feared any enemy. But now her fleet was breaking. All ships, she said, fall back. The order went out. The once proud Empire fleet turned away. They ran. They did not speak. They did not fight. The ghost ship watched them leave. It did not follow. It stayed behind, a shadow among the stars. On the bridge of the unknown vessel, Laura sat in silence. Her first officer, Ryan Brooks, spoke. We could have wiped them all out. They'll remember this, she said, and next time they'll think twice. The stars stretched around them. The ghost ship turned slowly, its form almost invisible now. Far across the sector, news began to spread. A new power had entered the field, and it moved like a ghost. Asterisk, the capital city on the Empire's main planet, was large and full of light, tall. Towers touched the sky. People walked the clean streets below. Most of them did not know about the ghost ship. But inside the High Command building, the fear had already taken hold. Admiral Grant Lewis stood before the meeting table. Around him sat the top officers of the Empire. Their faces were pale. Their eyes showed fear. Our 4th Fleet was broken, Grant said. No battle, no warning. They were taken apart like toys. General Rachel Boone leaned forward. We have to know what this ship is. Who is flying it? What do they want? Grant nodded. We sent scouts. We sent drones. None returned. Another officer, Marcus Doyle, spoke. It does not act like an alien craft. It speaks our language. It flies like a man-made ship. Someone at the back of the room said, "Could it be Earth?" The room went silent. Earth, the home planet of humans, long forgotten. No contact in hundreds of years. No ship had returned from Earth in centuries. Grant said, "That is a myth. Earth is dust now." But one person in the room did not agree. Her name was Megan Brooks. She was young, but she had a sharp mind. She was not a soldier. She worked with data and patterns. She stood and said, "I do not think Earth is dust. I think Earth remembers, and I think the ship is human." Many laughed at her. A few listened. Grant watched her carefully. Megan placed a small device on the table. A map showed up in the air above it. Points of light blinked. These are the places the ghost ship has appeared. Small colonies, border systems. All of them have one thing in common: they were attacked by the Empire in the last 20 years. Grant crossed his arms. What are you saying? It only appears after we cause harm, Megan said. It watches, it waits, then it strikes. General Boone said, that proves nothing. Could be a rebel ship, could be a trick. I found old data records, Megan said, before the Empire formed. There was a long-range cryo mission from Earth. They sent a ship deep into space. The records stop after launch. And you think this is that ship? Grant asked. It fits, Megan said. The size, the silence, the speed. Maybe they survived. Maybe they changed. There was silence in the room. Grant looked around. He saw the fear in their eyes. Not fear of aliens, fear of other humans. Fear of what Earth might have become. We must be sure, he said. Send a team, not a fleet. A small group, quiet and fast. If this is Earth, we must know. Megan nodded. I want to go with them. You, Boone asked. You are not trained, but I understand the patterns, Megan said. I can help, Grant. Thought for a moment. Then he said, fine, you go. Commander Eric Dunn will lead the mission. 2 days later, a small ship left the capital. It carried 6 people. One of them was Megan. Another was Commander Dunn. He was a quiet man with sharp eyes. He had seen war, but he had not seen anything like this. Their ship moved through empty space. They went where the ghost ship had last appeared. They kept all systems low. They did not send signals. They waited. 3 days passed. Nothing happened. Then, on the 4th day, the lights dimmed. The ship shook slightly. A shadow passed outside. Megan looked out the window. Her breath caught. It's here, she said. The ghost ship appeared without sound. It floated like a dream. No lights, no markings. Just smooth, dark metal, cold and endless. Do not move, Dunn said. A voice came through their comm system. It was clear, female, human. State your purpose, it said. Dunn replied, we are not here to fight. We want to talk. Silence. Then the voice said, stand by. A soft pull took their ship. It moved slowly. The ghost ship had them. They did not resist. The airlock opened. Bright white light poured in. Dunn and Megan stepped forward. They were met by 2 humans, dressed in grey suits, calm and silent. One woman stepped forward. She had short dark hair and calm eyes. I am Captain Rachel Quinn, she said. You are now inside the Eidolon. Megan asked, is this ship from Earth? Rachel nodded. Yes. We are what Earth has become. Don asked, why have you returned? Rachel looked at him and said, to bring balance, to stop the Empire. You took too much. Now we take it back. Megan asked, why not destroy us? Rachel said, because not all of you are the problem, but those who bring harm will be stopped. Dunn said, the Empire will want to talk, to understand. Rachel looked at him and said, then listen. Carefully, this is your only chance. Back on the small ship, Megan typed fast. She had a message, one that would change everything. Earth had returned, and it did not come in peace, but it did come with purpose. She sent the message across the stars. Unknown vessel confirmed. Human from Earth, not seeking war, but not afraid of it. The Empire had a choice now, and the clock was ticking.